So when it comes to Blur, I'm a bit baffled by it really. For me, Sack is just massively overpowered. Massively overpowered. So, you know, Blur, one of the most powerful 4-star sack bots in the game. And the apes just don't think it's a problem. So, something sort of hit home. A couple of things. So, this is what I'm going to try and talk you around about sack. So, one of the things was someone in the chat, it was a very high level player, I won't say who it is, but a very high level player, in the playtest chat, said, yeah, I don't level 5 star, anything but 5 stars. I don't bother with the 4-star. Because I said, listen, if a 4-star is good, people will level it. And he said, no, I don't touch them. I don't level any 4 stars. But in a war we had against him previously, he used 4-star Cup and 4-star Blur. So, my point is that if he only levels 5-star, but the only real 4-stars he uses in wars is Blur and Cup, then surely that's because they're extremely powerful. Right? That's kind of my point. If I was to say to you that the apes are making plans that outpost bots will no longer use their abilities. So if you put Twin Twist in an outpost, he will just pop out and do nothing. Do you think that's a positive change? Do you think that's a good change for the game? That they remove abilities from outposts? Let me know in the chat what you think of that. Just Elite Sport, negative change, that's horrible. Grind time, terrible idea. Calvin, nope, terrible idea. Bad move, what? Nope, hell no. Okay. That is what Sack does. Sack makes it so that all outpost bots abilities are negated. So if you can sack all the outpost, what is the point in having Twin Twist in there? What is the point in having anyone else in there? All it ends up being is you're putting bots in there for HP. And if they removed abilities from outposts, that is what everyone would do. Because there's no point putting a gunner in there because it's going to die very quickly. Everyone would just put high HP bots in outposts. And that's probably the best analogy I can give. Is that what happens with Sack is all abilities are negated. Because you pop the abilities, then you drop the combiner and they stop using their abilities, or they waste them on the combiner, or by the time they get to the combiner they stop using them. It just negates all abilities. So it doesn't matter who you've got in the outpost. The abilities will be wasted. You might as well just put 5 really high health bots in there. You might as well put 5 warriors in there. Exactly, and Cameron Nail has put, you know, what's the point in having outposts then? Exactly. Exactly. With Sack so prevalent and being unable to defend against it, what is the point in having good outpost bots? And so there's a couple of solutions. So one is, so they brought the age out, and straight away I was like, right, this does help combat Sack. But now everyone is putting the age core on their Sack bots, so that doesn't stop it. So there's got to be a different solution. And people are saying, oh, don't kill Sack. I'm not trying to kill Sack. I'm trying to make it so that if I want to defend against Sack, I can do, but it opens me up to something else. That's what I want. Now, if it was a case of like flare mines kill Blur, but then you're going to be able to use Cup. So there needs to be something else. And I've said to the apes that what I would like is when they consider the next round of ability 11s, when they consider the next round of G1 cores, when they consider the new bots, what they need to do is consider a core or some ability 11, a bit like Rhinox, where the ability reignites when they go below a certain point. So if you sack, say, 4 bots, and then those bots all pop and their abilities get wasted, okay, fair enough. And then you put the combiner, and then all them bots go towards the combiner, then the combiner dies, and then bots go below a certain health, you're going to have a stack of different abilities on top of each other all reactivating, which is going to be absolutely devastating for your team. Now, you know what? If they use Hot Rod and take out the FFD with that, then, you know, I kind of get it. It adds more tactics to it, and I'm fine with that. But at the minute, it's just a case of just drop Blur, spam, 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 because nothing stops him. You know, there needs to be some sort of... And people are saying, oh, yeah, we have less time because we're only using 7 bots. But then you're negating any damage completely, so you can go down to one healer. You don't need 2 healers anymore because you're not getting twin twist damage against you. You're not getting swoops damage against you. You're not getting hit by Chromia's tower, so you're not taking much time through the base. So there's plenty of ways to negate sack without killing it. We don't want to kill it so that you can never sack a base ever again. We want to be able to make it so that you can defend against sack, but it opens it up to something else. Whether it's a build bot call, I don't know, whatever. But it just needs something again. And the reason that I don't want to go for Blur is that I can see some sort of counter coming. I've got the 4-star at 61, 61.9. The last thing I want to do is invest in Blur and put Blur to 9 or 10. But then a counter to come out, and I've invested in a 5-star when I've got the 4-star. It does a similar job, and I don't know. So yeah, Hound. The reason that I don't like Hound is that when I voted for Hound, the first time, I wasn't sure whether to vote for him or not. I was a bit indecisive. I liked him. I liked Rotorstorm. I like Slingshot. And I voted for Slingshot first off. And then it became apparent that Slingshot was not going to win the vote, and Blur was, and Hound was in second. So I thought, right, if I'm going to go for any bot out of Blur and Hound, because it's a 2-horse race, I'd rather go for Hound. I really would. Hound will get a buff, Hound will get an improvement, whereas Blur will probably have some sort of counter. So I'd rather have Hound. So when Hound was announced, we sort of started talking in playtest, and I said, well, what this guy needs is, he needs his damage reflection, sort of like a shield or something to change that. What he also needs is some sort of consistency in his targeting, something like 6-gun. So at the minute when you drop him, his hollows sort of go everywhere, not even to the next building. So there needs to be some consistency. It needs to go to the nearest building to whatever you're aiming to. Some sort of consistency at least. His range is great and things like that. His G1 core, personally, I'm not a fan of the hollow. It just pops outposts when you're not ready for it, when you don't want it to. You can't count the time of when it's going to pop. So I want to be able to pop outposts when I want, for whatever reason. And I know it's a free hollow, but it can really mess your attack up because of the inconsistency. But the problem is, people can say, we'll just put a VM on, but the VM causes less damage. Hound's G1 gives him the most damage he can get. So it's like, do you take the damage on the hollow, or do you take less damage? And I don't think that's kind of right. I'm not a fan of his G1. I like his ability 11, but I'm not a fan of his G1. And I'm not a fan of the sort of unpredictability of his ability. And that's why I'm not a big fan of Hound. Ironhide is just pretty dreadful, to be honest with you. They've tried to fix him, and he's a bit more, durable, that he stays alive. But not a fan of Ironhide at all. He's worse than Pipes. And you can say, yeah, he's got this electromagnetic whatever it is. But everyone uses FFD and stun cores, anti-stun. And they're the two that kill Ironhide. When they said they're going to change something, I thought, they'll take away the anti-stun. They'll take that away, because obviously he's negated by FFD anti-stun. So, the anti-stun still hurts him, still stops his ability. So, why? I just don't get it. I've said for a long time that the damage in an area needs to be a lot bigger. When you've got bots like Rhinox do huge damage in an area, then, warriors are never going to hit that. They've got higher health, but less DPS, but they're never going to hit them heights, comparing it to Rhinox. Twin Twist, absolutely amazing, but it is the best defense bot in the game. Undoubtedly, the best outpost bot in the game, past Godly. Absolutely unbelievable, amazing, even after he got a fix and got reduced, amazing. And Slingshot, listen, the reason I don't want Slingshot is the 4-star for me does exactly what the 5-star does. So the 5-star will simply do 20% extra damage in an area for 15 seconds, is it? And the 5-star and the 4-star do exactly the same. The only difference is damage. I don't use him for his damage. So the slight damage decrease, but it worries me that eventually build bots will get a buff. And my idea, actually, with Slingshot, is to take away the volatile mixture. and still be able to kill build bots. But I don't think the 4-star can do that as it is with the reduction that he has. And I don't think that's fair. Yeah, taking a quarter of his damage away, so that's 4,500 damage. So yes, when the build bots get an increase, if they do, then that's not going to negate the 4-star from even killing build bots. And they are so low on health. I know people are going to say it was 4560, but you know, a 4-star bot should be able to take out a build bot. Let's be honest. So yes, you know, lots to sort of think about into the new batch. Is it as good as the likes of batch 9? Sorry, 8. Is it as good as batch 7? Definitely not. You know, the likes of Jetfire and the likes of Blades. You know, Laser Optimus. All good, still viable bots, still using wars. And these guys are massively using wars. Absolutely brilliant. And I don't think we can hit them heights with this batch. I think it falls well short. I think with this batch, we're talking somewhere along the same heights as Legacy 6, really. Bots that are, most of them are alright with one dud. But, yeah, such a shame.